Hi, this is Chris. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to do some watercolor, and I want to do some watercolor of quilt pieces, some scraps of quilts. I enjoy painting images of quilts and where the fabric is stitched and puckered and the designs of the vintage fabrics and all those things. And so I have here some scraps of quilts that I purchased on Etsy. It was a bundle of vintage scraps. I'll move these. Here's a nice little maple leaf. It has a very 1930s fabric on it. It has some worn through spots. And you can see the maple leaf. It has the points here and the stem here. It's called the maple leaf pattern. I have that to choose from. I have this one, which is not quite so old. This looks to me like it might be from the 80s. And there's quite a few pretty little patterns in here. And this is obviously the edge of the quilt with the circle. And then other parts of the quilt over here. And all nice and stitched and wrinkly. Here's one that's all in blue. I'm not sure what this pattern is called. But you can see that this circle here comes out of this area here. And they just reverse them to make this interesting pattern. This wouldn't be too hard to paint. It's only 2 colors. And then I have this one, which is really tattered and old. A hexagon quilt. Very thick batting. Several different patterns. Here's one that I started to take off to use in a stitchery pattern. That's what I bought this for, was to use these pieces in stitchery or to use to paint. So I'll choose one of those. And here's my palette. I'll put up a graphic that shows the paints that I use. These are all Winsor Newton professional grade. Then over here I have, this is called Opera by Daniel Smith. And this one is called Peacock, and it's by Holbein. So you notice a lot of these colors are very conducive to nature painting and flower painting and more natural type images, and these are very bright and vibrant, and so these are more for commercial type images. I'll be painting in my watercolor travel journal. And I'll be on this page, and I can put my banker's clips on here. To hold it down. I have this Robert Simmons, which synthetic, white sable synthetic, which I like for doing washes on small paintings. Here's a Robert Simmons number 5 round. It doesn't have a very good point. It's for washes more than detail work. And here's a number 4 round Grumbacher. That could work. And then for very fine detail, I might use this Princeton Art Brush number 2. And if I need really fine detail, I'll find something else in here that I can use. I'll put these on my little water dish. And I have my mechanical pencil, which has a 2H lead in it. decided on this one. You won't be able to see the drawing very well because the pencil's rather light, but while I'm drawing I'll show you some details from some paintings that I have done before. Most of them are full sheet watercolors, some are half sheet watercolors, but the still images I'm showing you are just a section of those paintings, showing a close-up of the fabric painting that I did. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this. You can watch the little slideshow. I finished the drawing. It's not exactly what is in the pattern on the quilt. I just did my own impression of the different colors and the different shapes and fit them in where I could. I'll try to bring this in and adjust it so you can see the drawing. And then next I'll start laying down some washes. I've done the first layering of the white section, and you notice how much color I have. It's white, off-white fabric, but I'm using a lot of beiges and browns and grays and bluish grays to denote the shadows and give it 3 dimensions. So next I'm going to start putting in the flowers, and I'll probably pick one color and put in all that color, and then I'll pick another and put in all that color. Now I'm going to add the orangey red color, and I'm not going to record everything because it takes up a lot of memory in my camera, but I'll just come back from now and then and I'll do a few time lapses. The next step is to do the shadows and contours of the fabrics on this area like I did on the white areas. This can be kind of difficult because it can cause the colors that are already on there to spread and run. So I'm going to clean up my palette and then we'll work on that. By the way, I really like these water cups. They're by Faber-Castell and they're collapsible, So if you don't need a lot of water, you can collapse it, or if you're traveling, you can make it smaller. It has these little ridges on it so your brush doesn't roll away. And I ended up buying two, so I have one for acrylics and one for watercolor. They come in 3 colors. I'm going to do the same as I did over here and just make a sort of a beigey off-white color. The last thing I do is continually build up the little shadows that gives it dimension. I exaggerate what I see on the actual image, and I make little folds and shadows so it looks more three-dimensional. And this isn't a 100% accurate copy, it's just an impression of what I see. I added a bit of a drop shadow. Over here we have a little place where the quilt is actually sort of folded over and sticking up. Like little darts in the fabric. Okay, I think our little quilt is finished. Wants to pop up. And I like to put in the corner, I guess you could kind of call it a cartouche. This pen is running low. And the date. And where I was at home. Here's my finished painting of the 1930s vintage tattered quilt. Thanks for watching and have a great time painting. Bye bye!